What's the worst case you've seen of someone trying to play the victim? The worst employee we ever had. We had an employee at our coffee shop who was eventually fired for a long list of infractions. It wasn't just one thing, it was everything. He would call customers names like dumbass or stupid fuck under his breath, and he did it often enough that customers started complaining. Management caught him doing it, too. He was always late, left early, or constantly begged coworkers to cover his shifts. Instead of cleaning or restocking during downtime, he'd pull out his drumsticks and practice, which annoyed both customers and the rest of the staff. During inventory checks, we noticed pallets of sandwiches, baked goods, bottled drinks, even full 5-pound bags of espresso, had mysteriously gone missing. The numbers just didn't add up. He was finally fired after badmouthing a customer while a visiting manager happened to be sitting in the cafe. He didn't realize who they were. When confronted, he blamed everything on someone or something else. Being late? I missed the bus, or my roommate forgot to wake me. Leaving early? I had a gig, or there was a concert I really wanted to go to. Missing food? I didn't have money for food. It's the company's job to feed me while I'm working. Calling customers names? They misunderstood me. Management replied, what part of calling someone a dumb fuck is a misunderstanding? His answer, not my fault, they're so sensitive. He never took responsibility. Everything was always someone else's fault. Eventually, none of us wanted to hang out with him. When we went to bars, he'd order drinks, tell the bartender one of us was covering it, then disappear before the bill came. Sometimes he'd walk around when people got up to dance and finish off whatever drinks they left behind. Just an all-around awful person. After he got fired, we found out he was hired by a Starbucks in the mall. They didn't call for a reference, even though he listed us as his previous job. Turns out, he was caught there stealing money and food, too. To add to that, one of our tougher, grumpier workers, someone who usually had a bad attitude, watched the drummer guy in action one day and turned to me and said, I hope I don't sound like that. After that, he completely changed how he worked and became one of the best employees we had. We also had another guy who insisted on going by a weird animal nickname. He got sent home multiple times for showing up drunk. He was eventually fired when management found out he was sneaking vodka into the cafe and pouring it into girls' drinks during the late shift. But even among all that chaos, the drummer guy? Easily the worst employee we ever had. She backed into me and blamed me. I was in a crowded parking lot, slowly driving around looking for a spot. There was one car ahead of me, and at some point, it just stopped. I had no idea why. It wasn't like anyone was pulling out or there was a space open, but I stopped behind it. Before I could even react, the reverse lights came on, and the car suddenly shot backwards. She slammed right into the front of my car. I didn't even have time to hit the horn. She jumped out of her car, immediately screaming that I had hit her. By the time the officers arrived, she was crying, shaking, and saying her neck hurt, accusing me of rear-ending her. Luckily, 2 people had been walking nearby when it happened. They saw the whole thing and told the officers that she had backed into me. Later, she even tried to tell her insurance company that I knew those witnesses and they were lying for me. I didn't know them at all. If those 2 people hadn't stuck around to give statements, I would have been completely screwed. Why my kids never met their grandpa. Sometimes my kids ask why they've met my mom, but never my dad. I usually just tell them he died a long time ago, back when I was a kid. But the truth is a little harder than that. My father was an abusive alcoholic. When I was young, he used to beat us, me and my siblings. Eventually, my mom had to kick him out. For a little while after that, we still visited him on the weekends at his new place. But around the time I turned 10, he told my mom to stop bringing us. He gave her a shoebox filled with every photo he had of us, and that was that. Over the years, we tried reaching out, calling on birthdays or holidays. But eventually, he made it clear, he didn't want anything to do with us. He told us to stop contacting him altogether. Last year, after my mother passed away, he reached out to me. He said he had changed, that he wanted to make amends. I told him it was okay, I forgave him. I even filled him in on how I was doing, sent a few pictures of my kids. But I also told him the truth, I'm a grown man now. I've already lived a whole life without him. I didn't need a father anymore. Still, I told him he was forgiven. But instead of accepting that, he lashed out. He said I was a horrible person for pushing him away, for abandoning him. He told me he was dying and just wanted to fix things. I told him, again, that he was forgiven. But the fact is, he abandoned me. I grew up without him. And now, I just don't have the energy for his guilt or manipulation. I wish things could have been different. But I can't let someone like that back into my life, and especially not into my children's. They deserve better. My brother-in-law thinks the world is against him. My brother-in-law, my wife's brother, believes the entire world is conspiring against him. In his mind, nothing that's gone wrong in his life is his fault. All his drug problems? Someone else is doing. The government taking his kid away? Totally unfair, because he's a good father. When his own disabled mother got custody of the child and let him move back in, she supposedly made up the abuse stories. According to him, none of it happened, she just wanted to turn everyone against him. When both Adult Protective Services and Child Protective Services stepped in and told us we had to protect them from him, he lost it. In his mind, we had no right to steal his kid, even though he hadn't had custody in years. He lives off disability now, for back problems that started after he got beat up for mouthing off to the wrong people. His doctors have told him he's physically capable of working and doesn't need a wheelchair, but he refuses. And despite the fact that he's living rent-free in his mother's home, he still claims he can't pay his bills. Of course, that couldn't have anything to do with the way he blows his disability check on drugs and junk food the second it hits his account. He tells people we abandoned him to die. We're horrible, according to him, because we won't let him move in with us, even though the government literally placed his mother and his kid in our care to keep them safe from him. At one point, he faked a medical emergency, called 911 just to be taken to the hospital. When he got there, he told the staff he was dying, wheelchair-bound, and abandoned in a filthy home. That home only became unlivable after his mother and son were removed. He refused to clean, never took care of the place, and had a dog he didn't let outside. The dog used the floors as a bathroom. Somehow, he convinced APS to call us and say we needed to clean up the house and take care of him, despite us living 250 miles away in another state. We gave them the full backstory, including names of the caseworkers already involved. APS quickly realized the situation. When they told him we wouldn't take him in, he demanded they get a court order to force us to let him live in our home. APS explained that's not a thing. He started screaming at everyone, so loudly we heard him from a phone call the caseworker made to us from the hospital. The doctors, again, told him he didn't need a wheelchair. He screamed at them too. When they discharged him, he refused to leave. They ended up putting him in an ambulance, taking him home, but he refused to get out of the ambulance. So they drove him back to the hospital and left him on a gurney in the ER. After 8 hours, when he still refused to leave, security had to physically remove him and leave him in the parking lot. A few weeks later, he was calling us again, this time begging us to pay his bills. When we refused, he went off about how we stole his kid and how we're horrible for not recognizing what a great father he supposedly is. Here's the reality, he lives in a rural southern county. You know what it takes for CPS to permanently take your kid away in a place like that? Immediate danger to the child's life. That's not me exaggerating, it's a grim truth. They didn't just remove the child and strip his rights as a parent, a judge permanently terminated custody. And after that, CPS still came back and said the child and his grandmother weren't safe in the same house as him. I never planned to raise another kid. My own kids are grown. I did my part. But this boy, my nephew, has significant emotional scars from everything he's endured. And I couldn't just look away. So I'm doing it. I'm raising him. Because someone has to. Because I'm not a complete piece of shit. But in my brother-in-law's eyes, it's all part of some massive conspiracy, just to spite him. The time I watched a lady try to sue her way out of running a red light. I once witnessed a car accident at an intersection where a woman blatantly ran a red light. Another car, whose light had just turned green, entered the intersection and hit her broadside. To be fair, the innocent driver's view was partially blocked by my vehicle, which was also starting to move forward. I saw what was happening and managed to stop in time. She didn't have the same chance. After the impact, several witnesses, including myself, stopped to help. The woman who ran the red light immediately started arguing that the light was yellow and that her neck hurt. Typical. She even had the nerve to try and file a lawsuit over it. A while later, I got a call, apparently a deposition, from the lawyer representing the woman who ran the light. He was clearly fishing, trying to poke holes in my statement. At one point, he even said that another witness claimed to be standing where I was during the crash. Nice try, man. I told him straight up, I was there. I saw everything. And there was no way he was going to twist my words or paint me as some unreliable witness to help his client scam money from someone who did absolutely nothing wrong. She made a dumb decision, ran a red light, and caused an accident. End of story. He asked us to believe in him, then cashed out without looking back. A local business owner I knew, someone I'd actually call a friend, pitched this new venture in Atlanta to all his loyal customers. He was asking us to invest, to buy shares. I knew it wouldn't make money right away. He said we'd be lucky to break even after 3 years. I believed him. The man could sell religion to the Pope. And it went just like he said, 2 years of losses, broke even in year 3. Seemed like things were on track. Then, year 4 rolls around. Out of nowhere, he shuts down the Atlanta store and opens up shop in a new town. This time, though, he's doing it with his own money. Yeah, sure. By his own money, he apparently meant the leftover inventory, assets, and profits from the Atlanta store. And wouldn't you know it, he suddenly got a shiny new house, new cars, the full glow up. When the shareholders took him to court, he acted absolutely shocked. Deeply hurt. Genuinely disappointed in us, even. The lawsuit, though? Total dud. We barely made it off the runway. Like someone in the group pointed out, the legal costs were quickly overtaking the actual money we'd lost. One by one, people dropped off. It crumbled. Both the original and Atlanta stores were shut down. Bridges burned, thoroughly. The new store? It's been renamed, but from what I can tell, it's still going strong. Would I name the business here? Not a chance. The man might be full of it, but he wouldn't hesitate for 1 second to slap a defamation suit on anyone who spoke up. Sometimes karma really is just asleep at the wheel, and all you can do is move on. The last time I picked up my mom. My mom is in her 50s now, and for years she'd call me at all hours, drunk, high, or both, crying hysterically about how her life was ruined. Every time, it was like I was supposed to forget everything that came before. She was an addict for most of my childhood. Alcohol, pills, you name it. Rehab? 5 times. She relapsed every single time. My dad gave her chance after chance. Amazing jobs, free housing, even helped her financially long after the divorce. She nearly bankrupted him. Eventually, he had no choice but to raise 6 kids on his own. One by one, the rest of the family cut ties with her. All the siblings. Even her own parents. Except me. I held on longer than I should have. I still answered her calls. I still believed, maybe this time she meant it. But 2.5 years ago, I got another call. She'd screwed up again. Got herself kicked out of a housing program and lost a job before it even started. She was stranded on the side of the road with nowhere to go. I remember frantically rushing around my apartment, hiding every bottle of wine, every pill bottle, anything that might trigger her. Then I drove out, picked her up, and brought her back to crash for the night. she cried the whole ride. Told me dad was ignoring her, and how awful it was that he wouldn't give her money anymore. And that's when it hit me, finally and completely. I was done. Why, you're really in my office. I manage an outpatient drug and alcohol education and treatment center. We're licensed by the state, which means anyone with a DWI or DUI has to come through us. They go through an evaluation, then complete a program based on their results. That's the only way they'll get their license back, or satisfy probation. Every state has something like this. No one's exempt. Doesn't matter if they beat the criminal case in court or not. Some people come in knowing they screwed up. Maybe they had a couple glasses of wine, drove, and got caught with a BAC barely over the limit. They accept responsibility, go through the lowest level of the program, get it done without any drama. But then, there are the others. And I see at least one of them every single day. They show up angry. They blame the state. They call it a scam, a money grab, a waste of time. And worst of all, they treat me like I invented the damn rules. Like I'm the reason they're here. And guess what? It's always the same type of person, multiple DWI or DUI charges, clear addiction issues, and often additional charges, accidents, injuries, even vehicular manslaughter. These people. These killers and repeat offenders who avoided jail time, who get a second, third, even fourth chance, and all they have to do is 6 weeks of outpatient treatment, and they have the audacity to complain. It used to wear me down. I used to stay quiet and just get through the sessions. But not anymore. Now, when one of these perpetual victims starts whining about how unfair this is, I stop them. And I remind them exactly why they're in my vice. The roommate who kicked himself out. So, my roommate kicked himself out of my condo. Literally. When he first moved in, I didn't realize he was a pathological liar and a total attention seeker. But it didn't take long. He constantly made up stories, obvious lies, and when anyone called him out, he'd get defensive, backpedal, and lash out. It made things really uncomfortable. I never confronted him, but I started mentally prepping to give him his 30 days notice when his lease ended, about 4 months away. Then one random day, I get a couple texts from coworkers asking if it's true I'm kicking my roommate out today. I tell them this is the first I'm hearing of it. Turns out, after the third or fourth big lie I caught him in, he noticed I'd started pulling back. So he ran to the gossip squad at work, especially the pretty ones, and started telling them I hated him and was kicking him out, like, tonight. The drama made its rounds, and of course it got back to me. That night, he comes home drunk from hanging out with his gossip crew and immediately starts yelling at me, accusing me of kicking him out. I tell him, no, I don't know what he's talking about. I explain I hadn't planned on kicking him out today or said anything to anyone about it. I do admit, though, that I was planning to give him notice when his lease ended. He interrupts and shouts, "What date?" Then, without waiting for an answer, he shouts that he's giving me 30 days notice starting tonight. And just like that, he storms off and tells everyone I did kick him out. The next day, he crashes on a friend's couch. By the end of the week, he's got a new place lined up. Meanwhile, the gossip has now upgraded to, Billy kicked me out and made me homeless that night. So basically, he made up a rumor about getting evicted, got mad when it came full circle, confronted me, and then acted out his own rumor. He left that day, but not because I told him to. And honestly, my home and my life have been 1,000 times more peaceful ever since. Kicking out the ex and finding my strength. It wasn't the worst situation I've ever been through, but when I finally kicked my abusive ex out of my house, he immediately started playing the homeless victim card hard. To be clear, when I kicked him out, it had already been 10 months since we'd broken up. He'd strong-armed me into letting him live with me when I got a better place, after he got kicked out of his friend's house. I was the only one working, and he refused to watch our child while I was at work. If I even talked to another guy, he'd get aggressive and violent. There were multiple times when my best friend, my only ally, literally had to kidnap me just to get me away and keep me safe. Yeah, it was a total mess. But after I kicked him out, he started telling everyone I was this crazy, horrible person. He said I was keeping him from seeing our daughter and called me a bitch because I was jealous. For years, people believed him. I lost every friend I had. But here's the thing, this story has a happy ending. It's been years since all that happened. Now, I'm in a healthy, happy, safe place. I met and married an amazing person who held my hand and had my back when I started therapy to heal the wounds I carried. My daughter is 9 now, a sweet, strong girl. And I have an incredible group of friends who are the best support team anyone could ask for.